senior doctor has warned that myths about vaccines could lead to people of South Asian heritage turning down their invitation to have a COVID-19 jab. Dr. Harpreet Sood is leading an NHS anti-disinformation campaign and says there's growing evidence that many people in these communities are being put off by false information. Well, more than 100 mosques across England have joined a campaign to convince their communities to take the vaccine. Imam Kari Asim is chair of the Mosques and Imams National Advisory Board and joins me now leading that campaign. Thank you very much for your time today. It's deeply concerning, isn't it, that people might be putting themselves at continued risk of COVID-19 for longer than they need to because of fake news, because of misinformation?
Morning. The Mosques and Imams National Advisory Board is running a campaign to raise awareness about the vaccination process and also address some of the myths and fake news that's circulating. Skepticism and anxiety exists within the sections of the Muslim community regarding vaccines, and Muslim scholars and medical experts have looked into the vaccines, and we are perfectly okay with it. We have said that the COVID-19 vaccines are perfectly permissible from Islamic perspective. They are halal. And secondly, we are addressing the rumors, fake news, false information that vaccine process is going to result in DNA modification or is going to result in people being tagged. And our message is very clear. Minab is saying that verify before you amplify, because such misinformation could result in someone losing their life.
Well, that's a really good phrase. A really good phrase, verify before you amplify, because actually if people are looking at social media and they're seeing fake news, we all know that can be, that a lie can be, that old phrase, a lie can be around the world before the truth has got its boots on, It gets amplified very, very quickly. Let's debunk a couple of the chief myths, the chief culprits in all of this. One is this claim that's been circulating, for example, that the vaccine contains alcohol. What do you say to that specifically?
Medical experts and Muslim scholars have looked into it, and we believe that the two vaccines that are being administered in the UK, that are being used in the UK, AstraZeneca and also Pfizer, they do not contain any alcohol and they do not contain any animal product or human embryo, and therefore they are halal, they are perfectly permissible within the Islamic framework.
Okay, so yes, alcohol and meat, that was the other myth that was going around. Now, you're going to be using Friday sermons, you and the imams in your group are going to be using Friday sermons to deliver this message. What else will you be saying in those sermons?
So Minab is running a 3-level campaign. One is that we are addressing these issues in our Friday sermons. So online, where mosques have closed and those which are still operating, they will be addressing these myths. But also from Islamic perspective, we'll be highlighting that it's an ethical duty, our moral obligation to take the vaccine. Do not miss the opportunity when you're called to take the vaccine. And it can be an Islamic obligation, not just a recommendation, but obligation to take it, where one is living with someone who's vulnerable, someone who's elderly, someone who's experiencing underlying health conditions. It can be an Islamic obligation to save their lives. So even if you think that you'll be okay, please do not miss the opportunity to take up the vaccines, because we have a moral duty towards our own selves, but also towards others, to protect lives, which is one of the fundamental core principles of Islam and all other faiths.
And I guess one of the key things that you can do is say that when eventually you would be offered the vaccine, you'd be happy to take it.
Absolutely. So in the categorization, I haven't been called, but actually what Minab has been doing, asking many imams who are elderly, who have been called to take vaccines, that they are actually videoing whilst being vaccinated, so that it can give people reassurance and also inspire confidence in people that, look, imams and religious scholars are taking these vaccines, and therefore we should not have any hesitation from religious perspective to take up the vaccines that are available in this country. We are really lucky to have developed these vaccines in such a short period of time, and I think this developing in such a short period of time has also raised concerns among some communities. People think that actually this is another myth, that the fact that the process has been accelerated, it must not have gone through the verification process. But that's not the case. We are not making these claims without having done our research, and we are very confident and we are grateful to our government to have actually rolled out this vaccine in such a large scale in such a short period of time.
Okay, Imam Kari Asim, thank you very much for joining us to debunk some of the myths around the COVID vaccines.